Previously on the Ukraine cinematic universe. The studio released a film that was highly anticipated but became a massive flop. Wagner's Civil War, The March for Justice, wound up being a catastrophic failure because they got M. Night Shyamalan to direct it. And just when it seemed like we were going to get a coup or something interesting happening, it was just a nothing burger, and the film just abruptly ended midway through. However, the studio was able to recoup the money by repackaging portions of it as a comedy movie, Prigozhin and Lushenko's Bizarre Adventure. And so the studio was like, we don't actually have anybody else who's willing to direct the sequel to this. So we're just going to get M. Night Shyamalan to come back. And M. Night Shyamalan's like, okay, guys, I got a view for phase 4 of the Ukraine cinematic universe. We're going to have a spin off cinematic universe. The reboot film is we're gonna start it out. We've been talking about doing the Wagner movie, which is going to be the new James Bond film that is a reboot of Spectre because Spectre sucked so much. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this in Africa. We're going to have the coup belt. We're going to have Burkina Faso. We're going to have Niger. We're going to have Mali on one side, and then we're going to have Nigeria and the other people in France on the other. And we're just going to have these huge battle scenes, and Prigozhin's going to be there with Wagner, and it's going to be epic. And that was the plan, is Prigozhin was going to go down. He was going to be the big bad of the side UCU. The problem with him being the big bad of the Ukraine cinematic universe in Europe is he's just not important enough. I mean, he looks like a supervillain. He acts like a supervillain. Apparently, he had body doubles and shit like that. But Putin's just so much better of a villain, and he's always going to come across as like Putin's henchman. However, he can be the big bad in another branch of the cinematic universe. Unfortunately, like I said, they brought M. Night Shyamalan back, and the end result of this is Prigozhin had an anticlimactic death when his airplane exploded. So this is all unconfirmed at the moment, but apparently, according to Russian state media, Telegram channels, and Western media, Prigozhin was flying out of Moscow on one of his two private jets when two explosions rocked his jet and it crashed with everyone dying. I'm not sure, as of me recording this video, if his body's been identified, but it overwhelmingly seems like Prigozhin is dead, along with another top commander of Wagner. I'm not sure what happened to the who the rest of the people on the flight were. And I've heard two different stories. One story is that they were air defense missiles of some description that hit the plane, and somebody else said that it was an explosion from within the plane. So we don't know. And I think what they're doing here is the whole Nord Stream whodunit detective murder mystery was such a success that they decided to the whole Ukraine cinematic universe, the Shyamalan had just screwed it up too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another mystery detective story whodunit, and it's going to be who killed Prigozhin. And knowing the course that this war has been going, it's probably going to be some lame thing like a computer glitch, or the plane just exploded because someone forgot to tie down like the cap on the fuel or something like that. But we have ourselves a whodunit here. Who killed Prigozhin? And it can be like literally anybody, because he literally made an enemy out of everybody. The most like, okay, so if I don't even know like where to start. Okay, so suspect number one is Putin. And I am still surprised that Prigozhin was able to get out of his coup attempt without being killed or permanently exiled from Russia. I don't really know like how that all worked out. I'm kind of surprised he's lasted this long. It would make sense if Putin was behind this and this was he was taking his chance to whack him. I feel like Putin might try to be a little more subtle than this, and it does seem kind of reckless, and it gets a bunch of other people killed, and I don't know. So the first suspect is Putin, who's getting revenge on Prigozhin and realizing that he's become a political liability, and he needs to be taken care of, and you can never trust a traitor. That's number one. Number two, a Western intelligence. Oh, sorry. Number two, someone in the Russian government other than Putin, be it a rogue general, if the FSB just decided to do it on their own. One of the somebody who hates him because literally everybody in the army hates him. That's number two. That's also a possibility. Number three, it's a Western intelligence agency, a three-letter agency, and they were behind this in some way. Either they snuck missiles in or they took control of Russian ones. Option four is that Ukraine was behind it. Ukraine has been sending a lot of drones to Moscow. Maybe they had a drone with anti air missiles on it, and they're the ones who shot down his plane. They certainly have enough reason to hate Prigozhin. Who knows? It could even just be the Russian mafia or somebody he screwed over in a defense deal or some random terrorist group from Africa that Wagner's fighting. Like, it could be literally anybody. And we can stretch this, like, murder mystery plot on for years because there's not really definitive evidence anyway. And it's going to get buried under just layer after layer of nonsense. I expect eventually what will happen is it'll just be ruled a tragic accident, that Russia somehow accidentally shut down the plane of the dude who attempted a coup a couple months previously. Yeah. Now, some people have said it doesn't make sense for them to kill him in Russia. It would have been better to wait till he got to Africa and shoot him down there, because then they could make it look like the US did it, or France did it, or Nigeria did it. But I don't know. The point of it is somebody killed Prigozhin. There's maybe like a 1% chance that someone forgot to like close a fuel duct or something, or there was some sort of legitimate explosion. Maybe Prigozhin was trying to impress his guys by like juggling grenades or some insane shit like that. Or they were like had a firing range inside of the jet and they were firing grenade launchers. I don't know. I think there's like a 1 to 5% chance that this was actually an accident. I think there's a similar chance of this being an accident that Epstein killed himself. That Epstein 100% legitimately killed himself. That there was no G slur op. There was no him being killed in jail. He just committed suicide because he felt guilty about the crimes that he had committed. So this is where we are currently with the UCU. We have the death of one of the main villains of it. The whole African spin-off is very much in doubt now. The Spring Offensive movie and series is going nowhere. And they attempted to have like this big summit in Jena to try to reboot the Ukraine cinematic universe. However, they forgot to invite the directors of the Russian side. And so that didn't go anywhere. But this is apparently how it is. We have the Who Killed Prigozhin, the next major murder mystery film in the Ukraine cinematic universe. So we'll find out hopefully sooner or later. Or like everything else, it's just going to be some fake G sort of thing where we never get closure on anything. That's all I have for you today. God bless, guys, and I'll talk to you again real soon.